Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most groundbreaking AI releases of the year, GPT-5 Codex by OpenAI. This isn't just another coding assistant. This is a fully agentic AI engineer that can plan, build, test, and deploy software almost autonomously. By the end of this video, you'll understand what makes Codex revolutionary, how it works under the hood, and how developers are already using it to 10x their productivity. Let's get started. So, what exactly is GPT-5 Codex? Simply put, it's a specialized version of GPT-5 that's been fine-tuned specifically for software engineering. Think of it as GPT-5 with a software engineer's brain. Codex can build full applications from just a high-level description. You tell it what you want, and it generates the entire project structure. It can write comprehensive test suites, not just basic tests, but edge cases, integration tests, the whole package. It can debug and refactor massive code bases, handling changes across dozens of files while maintaining consistency. And it provides detailed code reviews based on your team's style guides and best practices, just like a senior engineer would. But here's what makes it truly special. It's not just responding to commands. It's agentic, meaning it can work independently for hours, iterating until it solves the problem completely. Now, let's peek under the hood. What makes Codex so powerful? First, it's built on GPT-5's transformer architecture, which means it already handles multimodal input, text, code, images, and structured data, all at once. But OpenAI extended it to support repository-scale reasoning. Unlike earlier models that only understood isolated code snippets, Codex can comprehend your entire codebase, understanding how all the pieces fit together. Second, it's been fine-tuned using reinforcement learning in actual code execution environments. The model doesn't just generate code. It runs the tests, checks if they pass, validates the diffs, and learns from real execution feedback. And here's something fascinating. Adaptive thinking duration. For simple tasks like auto-completing a function, Codex uses 94% fewer tokens than GPT-5. But for complex multi-hour refactoring jobs, it thinks twice as long, working through the problem methodically. This isn't just efficient, it's intelligent resource allocation. Let's talk about what Codex can actually do. I'm going to show you some mind-blowing features. Feature number 1, project generation and bootstrapping. Imagine you type, create a fast API service with JWT authentication and Docker setup. Within seconds, Codex generates your entire project skeleton, folder structure, CI configuration, unit tests, and basic documentation. Everything you'd spend hours setting up manually, done automatically. Feature number 2, agentic testing and iteration. This is where it gets really cool. Watch this workflow. Codex writes the code, runs the tests, analyzes any failures, fixes the bugs, and reruns the tests, all by itself. It operates as a persistent AI agent that can work for hours until everything passes. You can literally start it in the morning, grab coffee, and come back to fully tested, working code. This isn't science fiction. Developers are doing this right now. But wait, there's more. Feature 3, large-scale refactoring. Codex can rename variables across your entire code base, migrate frameworks like moving from React to Next.js, or restructure your architecture, all while maintaining perfect consistency. Feature 4, advanced code review and pull requests. Look at this example. Codex not only suggests improvements, but explains why. It converts inefficient loops into clean, functional code and provides justification like a senior engineer reviewing your pull request. And it can process entire repositories thanks to its massive context window, answering questions like, where does this function get called and how does it affect performance? And feature 6, visual integration. You can show it a screenshot of your UI and it'll identify layout bugs or design issues. This is huge for front-end developers. Okay, enough talk. Let's see some numbers. On the SE Bench verified benchmark, that's 500 real-world software engineering tasks, GPT-5 Codex achieved a 74.5% success rate, beating GPT-5's already impressive 72.8%. But look at this. In complex refactoring tests, Codex scored 51% accuracy versus GPT-5's 34%. That's a 50% improvement in handling the hardest coding challenges. And in enterprise evaluations, teams reported up to 5x productivity gains. That means tasks that took a week now take a day. These aren't just incremental improvements. This is a paradigm shift in development speed. Let me show you a real example. Let's say you want to build a user authentication API. You simply tell Codex, create a user authentication API with login, register, and profile endpoints. And look what it generates. A complete fast API application with password hashing using bcrypt, Pydantic models for validation, JWT token handling, user registration with duplicate checking, proper security, clean structure, meaningful variable names. And this includes the login and profile endpoints too. Everything you need to deploy a secure auth system generated in seconds.
So where are developers actually using this? Enterprise teams are using Codex to generate complete REST APIs, Kubernetes deployment configurations, and automated CI/CD pipelines, the kind of infrastructure setup that used to take weeks. Front-end developers are building complex interactive applications. Someone asked Codex to create a pixel art game with character movement and bug-catching mechanics. It generated a fully playable HTML5 game with animations, keyboard controls, dialogue sequences, everything. Legacy codebases are getting modernized at scale. Teams are migrating from React to Next.js, upgrading Python versions, all with Codex handling the bulk of the migration and dependency updates. And security teams are using it to automatically detect vulnerabilities, sanitize code, and flag risky patterns like SQL injections or hard-coded secrets. The use cases are honestly endless. Now you might be wondering, how does this compare to GPT-4 and GPT-5? GPT-4 was great for general text and reasoning, but limited for code. GPT-5 brought multimodal capabilities and better reasoning, but Codex? Codex is specialized for software engineering. Context length. GPT-4 was limited, GPT-5 had large context, but Codex operates at repository scale, understanding thousands of files at once. Reasoning control. GPT-4 was static, GPT-5 brought dynamic reasoning, but Codex has fully adaptive reasoning that adjusts to task complexity. Coding accuracy. From moderate in GPT-4 to improved in GPT-5 to industry grade with reinforcement learning in Codex. And the big one, operation mode. GPT-4 was chat-based. GPT-5 added multimodal chat, but Codex runs agentic workflows. It plans and executes independently. This is a completely different category of AI tool. All right, so how can you start using GPT-5 Codex? Option 1. OpenAI's Codex IDE or API. You can access Codex directly through OpenAI's developer tools for project scaffolding, debugging, and refactoring. This is the official platform with full feature access. Option 2. IDE integration. Codex integrates seamlessly with tools you already use, VS Code, Cursor AI, and APDog. It can edit, review, and execute code right inside your local development environment. This is how most developers prefer to work with it. Option 3. Codex CLI and Agentic. For the command line enthusiasts, you can use natural language prompts directly in your terminal and let Codex autonomously plan, build, and test components. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. If you can write a sentence, you can use Codex. But beyond the features and benchmarks, What's the real impact here? First, Codex is elevating developers to architects. You're no longer spending time on implementation details. You're focusing on high-level design, system architecture, and solving business problems. Codex handles the tedious implementation and validation. Second, it's democratizing development. Someone with zero coding experience can describe a project in plain English, like, I need a task management app with user authentication, and get deployable code. This is opening software development to millions of people who couldn't code before. And third, it's accelerating delivery cycles dramatically. Enterprises are reporting 80% time reduction on certain tasks. Imagine shipping features in days that previously took months. We're not just making coding faster, we're fundamentally changing who can build software and how it gets built. Let me show you another powerful example: automated refactoring. Here's some classic callback hell: nested callbacks that are hard to read, error-prone, and a nightmare to maintain. This is what we used to write before async await. Now watch what Codex does. It automatically converts this to clean async await syntax. Look how much more readable this is. It properly handles errors with try-catch, uses modern JavaScript features, maintains the same functionality, and improves code quality across the board. And here's the key: Codex didn't just rewrite the code, it converted the pattern, added proper error handling, improved readability, and validated everything with tests. This kind of intelligent refactoring used to require hours of careful manual work. Now it's automated. Now, I don't want to paint an overly rosy picture. GPT-5 Codex is powerful, but it's not perfect. Let's talk about the challenges. Challenge 1: reproducibility. Complex or creative tasks might give you different results each time you run them. This is inherent to how AI models work. There's some randomness in the generation process. Challenge 2: security audits are still required. Just because Codex generates code doesn't mean you should deploy it blindly. You still need to review for security vulnerabilities, compliance issues, and business logic correctness. Challenge 3: compute intensity. When Codex is working on complex tasks, it's consuming significant computational resources. For longer reasoning tasks, this can get expensive. The bottom line: Codex is an incredibly powerful tool, but it still requires human oversight, especially for production deployments. Think of it as a junior developer that works at superhuman speed. Brilliant, but needs guidance. So where is all this heading? What's the future of AI and coding? We're witnessing a transition to agentic AI coding, where models don't just follow instructions, they independently plan, adapt, and execute entire workflows. Imagine this: multiple AI agents collaborating on a single project. One agent specializes in back-end architecture, another in UI design, another in testing. They communicate, coordinate, and build complex systems together. Or this: persistent agents that maintain project memory across weeks or months. They remember your coding style, your project's architecture, past decisions, and use that context to make better suggestions. And this: integration with CI/CD pipelines for continuous learning. Every deployment teaches the AI what works and what doesn't, creating a feedback loop of improvement. We're moving from AI as a tool to AI as a teammate, and GPT-5 Codex is just the beginning. All right, let's wrap up with the key takeaways. Number 1, GPT-5 Codex isn't just an incremental upgrade, it's a revolution in AI-assisted coding. This represents a fundamental shift in how software gets built. Number 2, adaptive reasoning means it's smart about resource usage, lightning fast for simple tasks, thorough for complex ones. Number 3, repository scale understanding means it can work with your entire codebase, not just snippets. It sees the big picture. Number 4, autonomous testing and iteration means it can work independently for hours, solving problems without constant human intervention. The bottom line: AI is now a true partner in software creation. If you're a developer and you're not experimenting with Codex yet, now is the time to start. This technology is going to level up your productivity in ways you can't even imagine yet. And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive into GPT-5 Codex. I hope this gave you a clear picture of what makes Codex revolutionary and how you can start using it in your own projects. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.